Hello, everybody, and another episode of the Fearlessly Curious podcast. And I'm hyped because I've got a very good friend, Nadira, here with us today. And Nadira is going to talk to us, share with us her personal story of fearless authenticity, of really leading life her way in order not just to pursue, but to realize her purpose through Aina Collective. So Nadira, thank you for joining us today. Super excited to have you. I know Aina right now in this time that we are recording is still very new. So it's a roller coaster ride, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So tell the listeners, because I could tell them, but it's much better if it comes from you. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to run with Aina Collective, and then what is Aina Collective?
Hey, thank you for having me, Sa. Yes, Sa is a good friend, so it's just a nice Monday afternoon chat. As you know or don't already know, I am a fitness instructor full time. So I do my own PTs, personal training, and I am at a gym called Club Aloha. So, fast forward over the 4 years I've been doing this as a job, my full time job. I kind of obviously every day wear active wear. So wear, sports bras, leggings, and stuff like that. And I also am very passionate about preserving the earth. I eat a plant-based diet because, of our Mother Earth. So piece that together. Over the last 1 year or 2 years or so, I've been looking for sustainable brands that I can support because I saw a huge problem in the fast fashion giant, like H&M, like I don't know if I'm supposed to say brands,
You can say, listen, you can say whatever you like.
Lululemon.
Can you tell us a little bit first about, fast fashion? For listeners who don't know what fast fashion is, could you break that down a little bit?
Fast fashion is basically brands or companies that have all the resources in the world, and they have like huge factories, huge pretty straightforward supply chain, but huge name in the business, in the industry. And because they are so big, they kind of somewhat manipulate their resources into making garments every day, every minute. So whether or not they pay their workers, we don't know. Whether or not they pay their rental, we don't know. But because they have scaled and being huge, they get to save a lot of costs and really utilizing very limited resources that they have. And then, the term fast fashion is because you see new designs, new clothes, new lines coming out every single day from these brands.
So the turnaround is immense.
Yes.
High production.
The amount of water they use is ridiculous.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So not mindful about the consumption of resources that is input into the production of these products.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Not mindful, not conscious. It's basically all about making the money and selling whether or not there is demand.
Okay. Yeah. Fast fashion. Thank you for that framing. So go ahead and continue sharing with us about Aina Collective, how it came about, what it's about.
Yeah. So because of the fast fashion point of view, I couldn't support like the brands that I used to support, but I needed clothes to wear to work, So I've been buying from the UK because I used to live in the UK. So I've been buying from a couple of sustainable brands in the UK, and I was really inspired by how honest they are in their brands, every step of the supply chain and where everything comes from, and why they price it so high, why they price it so low, all their struggles. So I think as a consumer, I buy into that. So one fine day, me and my partner, my co-founder now of Aina Collective, we were just questioning ourselves, like, why are we paying so much for shipping from the UK, from the US, from Australia? Why not make it our own? And that conversation or that idea came about when we were eating our annual Christmas lunch. So belly's happy, tummy happy, heart happy. We're like, okay, let's do this.
So it felt
And
good. It felt right. It
it
wasn't
felt
just
so
a fleeting
good.
idea.
Yes, and also she's my best friend. Like we've known each other since we were 12 and we were swimmers. So we were competitive swimmers together and we managed to stay in touch despite where we were in the world a couple years back. So that's how Aina Collective was born. We wanted to make something truly ethical, honest, sustainable, and hopefully fully local. Not yet at the moment because our factory is in Indonesia.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the idea of Aina Collective.
Okay. And what how has the journey been so far in creating it, getting it out on the market? What kind of challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them? Or are you in the process of overcoming them?
I think we are still in the process of overcoming it. Actually, not even. I think we had this conversation beforehand. It's just that it is difficult. It has been difficult. But at the same time, I think I need to learn to embrace the process.
I love that.
Fortunately for me, in my 20, well, just like displaying my age, in my 28 years of living, a lot of things have been handed easily to me, or I'm just privileged enough to have things come to me. But this is the first time that I kind of exhausted my whole life savings into something that I truly, truly care about and truly, truly believe in. And not having it realized as fast as I want it to be and as I want it to. Well, I say fast in my
Your
timeline,
your expectation.
but bearing in mind, we just launched last August 2022. So it is fairly new. But yeah, it has been challenging in the sense that we were selling so quickly in the first 3 months, I say, because friends and family were believing in our story and blah 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 blah. But I think we've touched all our friends and family. Now the challenge is to touch the masses, right? And that's our challenge right now. I think Malaysians don't. I think a lot of us haven't really, I don't know, not aware yet about what our clothes, of how our clothes affect the environment and so on and so forth.
And is this part of your process, therefore, which is to educate your potential community? I'm going to call them community rather than customers, right? Who are just there to buy. You're not just making a product.
Yes.
You are creating a more conscious community who are thoughtful about the clothes they wear. And I'm guessing that part of that process is to educate those who don't know.
Yes. Actually, that's our vision to inspire just individuals to create more sustainable practices in their life, be it buying our stuff or recycling or anything like that. So it is an educational platform rather than me selling you activewear. So we have huge plans for podcasts or workshops or anything along the lines of in the name of education. And yes, I forgot what was the original question.
Don't worry. We're just having a chat, and and I can't even remember the original question. So
yeah, I mean, it is trying to educate our community, Malaysians, and of course, later on, global citizens, to just be more conscious individuals and to know what you're actually wearing, what you're actually eating, and everything that you do every day makes a direct impact to the earth, whether you realize it or not.
That's so true. We can never be reminded enough. I think that definitely resonates with me. I often I'm not aware, or I forget that I matter.
Yes.
Like every thought I have is going to influence the words I speak, the action that I'm going to take. And the words I speak is going to impact somebody and it's going to influence them. And the action that I take is going to impact the world. But we think, oh, I'm one of, what's the population of the earth now? I don't know, 8 billion,
I have no idea.
Right? I'm one of 8 billion people. What difference does it make? And the thing is, if every single of those 8 billion people think that they don't make a difference,
Yeah.
right? Then of course, 8 billion people are not going to make a difference to the world because everybody's just going to be living in their own silos. But if we start to propagate this knowing, it's not even a belief, it's a truth that each one of us does matter and every choice that we make does create impact. That's 8 billion people being more aware. So thank you for being part of that community that's propagating a new way of not just thinking, but being and living. And you mentioned something earlier that really got my attention because you really own the fact. You said, I come from a privileged background. And I admire that. I admire someone who can wholly own their privilege, right? And through doing that, understand their own level of what adversity is. Because we also live in a world where we're constantly comparing with each other.
Yeah.
And for those of us who have been born into a more privileged background, I am also similar to you, right? In a way, there's a lot of shaming around that. And often we deny ourselves the reality of having experienced any trouble because we're like, oh, well, how can we be struggling? You know, there's people who are worse off than us. So even we compare with people who don't have the privilege, but that means we deny our own struggles and that's hardly fair. So I love that you, not only did you claim that, right, but you also talked to us about fast fashion, right? And the resources and how resources have just been thrown left, right, and center. And I was drawing a line between what you shared as being privileged and how your personal journey now of standing on your own hasn't been as fast as you had expected it. And in a way, I believe that you are truly embodying this whole concept of not living fast, slowing down, being more mindful of your resources, because now those resources have a different value to you. How would you, I mean, I'm sort of just projecting onto you what I thought, but had you ever thought about that this whole concept of standing on your own has caused you to embody the very thing that your brand is championing?
No, but thank you for noticing that actually. No, now it really makes sense. I mean, I don't know, not makes sense, but maybe it does have a connection because just earlier I was complaining to Sa, saying that it's like 2023, it's like a slow start, and she's like, what the hell? It's like it's only January, mate. Like, you know. But yeah, I think I'm just so used to, again, like and yeah, I always say that I come from a place of privilege because I understand a lot of people don't even have the choice to buy sustainable, you know, they just need a t-shirt from Cotton On, and that's fine. Like, you know, everyone is at different places. But at the same time, what I'm not okay is when you have the resources, you have the choice, you still, you know, make that, might I say, wrong choice. But anyway, I'm steering away. But yeah, like because of now, I've broken away from what my parents wanted me to do. I didn't mention this, but I used to come from a corporate like job. So it is somewhat slowing me down and telling me to be patient. Because yeah, sales are not coming in like this month. Like it wasn't coming in last month. A little bit slow, maybe 2 or 3 pieces. But it challenges me in different ways. What can I do? What sort of education I can give? Maybe my Instagram is too boring, my reels are too boring, I need to do something else. But yeah, it does actually embody that Aina is not at all fast. It's trusting the process. It's being conscious, looking around, and take every day as it goes.
I love that. As much as it's perceived as being difficult, because again, comparison, we look at other businesses, right?
Yeah.
But we forget that other businesses have gone through their own struggles, which the rest of the world don't get to see.
Yeah.
You know, you're sharing with us the behind the scenes struggles, and I appreciate you being very transparent with us, because this is what curiosity is all about. What you just mentioned, you know, slowing down and asking, could I do this differently? Could I do that differently? And so you, within Aina Collective, you're carving your own way. You're forging your own path. And the only way to forge your own path is to be curious and to ask what is working right now and what isn't working right now. And if ever possible, I would say, try and bring some play into it. Of course, money is involved and that can be stressful, right? But I think in terms of community, I imagine that you have quite a lot of support because, well, first of all, I know the sort of person that you are, and you yourself are very giving, very caring, very thoughtful of others. What sort of collaborative events or endeavors are you looking to do in the future?
So we have a couple already planned for this year. Starting with the collaboration with Club Aloha, which we are going to do this coming Saturday. It's they are helping us stock our pieces in their gym, so that again they are helping us expand to their kind of community and different eyeballs and people who don't really shop online. And then in March, we are planning a not clean, beach or city cleanup. So we don't know yet which one because we're waiting for the council permission. But we're also collaborating with a local hero called Trash Cycle, and they are amazing. They run as a recycling company where they pick up stuff from your homes. But again, yeah, just giving back to the community, like really empowering. Again, we are a women-owned business. I want to support not just women. I want to support everybody, but especially women and especially local businesses. They are like struggling competing with the giants, and just getting the community involved, because I think people just want to be involved. People just want to feel that they matter and they are, a part of something. And like you said, if there are one Nadira, and Nadira can get a community of 10 Nadiras to clean up some trash, this is already a cleaner Nadira land.
Yeah.
So, and you are never too small, you're never too insignificant. Everyone matters. Everyone does I don't know, I can't find the words now, but you know what I mean.
Everyone can make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really, the change actually starts with you, right? We're all like waiting for somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And some people may argue like not everybody is born a leader. I would challenge that. And I don't think it's a good thing to go out and say to people that not everyone is born a leader. In fact, I'd like to encourage everybody listening to know that we're all leaders.
Yeah.
And we're leaders of our own lives. And the thing is, if you have the idea to do something and you're thinking, oh, no one else is doing it yet, I'll wait for somebody else. It's so important for you to know, just like with Nadira and her co-founder, when they had this idea. I mean, I could say to you now, Nadira, there's probably thousands of other sustainable brands out there, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's only one of you, Nadira, and there's only one of your co-founder.
Yeah.
So you put out your version of it. It's going to be unique. And the minute that you have that idea is with you for a purpose. It's for you to action at some level, right?
Yeah.
At some level. So kudos to you for biting the bullet, investing in your dream to build this collective that is more than just selling a product.
Yeah.
It's about influencing change. Yeah. I'm curious to know, as a fellow human, I was about to say that's hilarious. Last time although sometimes I don't feel very human. A fellow Southeast Asian woman, right? Let's face it, we do live in a world that is still dominated by men. And in as much as I don't necessarily believe in the glass ceiling, I believe that women, we have to take our own responsibility for being successful, for being upfront about what we do and what we believe in, and most importantly about supporting other women-run businesses. I don't like to be in that victim mentality of how systems and history has set women up to fail. Yeah. Yes, that is true. But instead of harping on about that, what can we do to move forward? And I think part of moving forward is having people like you share your stories, right? Share your stories of adversity and share your stories of success. So as a Southeast Asian woman in this business, what sort of stereotypes did you disrupt?
I think first of all, there's already like, I don't know, Malaysians at least, everyone's like, oh, yet another women business or girl boss or like stuff like that. But I really I don't even believe in like saying like women are better or whatever. No one's better. You know, we're
Mhm.
all humans. And this is why I like explaining the brand, explaining not just this company, like my own self, my own like other fitness job or whatever, to really take the time to explain and make people aware of where you're at and your struggles so that they can become more empathetic, especially men. And yeah, like because the idea is to collaborate, right? Not telling you can't do this, I can't do this, or I can do this, you can't do that. It's more of let's work together, let's find a solution. So yeah, the struggles that we, I guess, face as women running a business, not just in Aina, just like my day to day or whatever. Um, yeah, first, you're not, oh, you're too emotional. Too emotional. Like girls always like put emotions in, like always want to cry in front of the camera. I'm like, I'm not purposely crying in front of the camera. I'm just telling, like,
You're moved.
social media is there. It's a tool now.
Mm.
Okay. Like we used to not have it. So people don't know if anyone's crying. But now we do have it. And then also there's another camp which thinks everyone on Instagram is like perfect life. But this is why we try to be more transparent, like, oh, if we feel like something's bothering us, we share and we cry and stuff like that. So it's not telling people that I'm an emotional, I'm like weak or whatever. It's more of like I'm human. I don't know many boys that would cry honestly in front of camera because they're too much over that. So we're not too emotional, we're just trying to, we're humans. We're like trying to be human. We're trying to, play with our strengths, which is to feel.
Mm.
And again, like I don't get angry when people say you're too emotional. I try to reason with them. Like, why are you saying this? Like, why do you think this is it? Um, what other struggles? I don't know. I think I can't see the struggles yet, more specifically to Aina, because we have been supported by so many women. I think uh as opposed to your question,
Mm-hmm.
we got so much support, not just from family and friends who already know us or already know our story, what we are doing, but other businesses. Like I can highlight now, like my friend from Zenbucha, like they've been trying to like ask if I need any help in stocks or whatever. And then people from Dia Guild, they are obviously the 2-year-old brand, very established, good platform. Everyone has asked if I needed anything with Shopify, if I needed a tech person to fix our bugs. Like I haven't really, if you say struggle, I haven't really faced
Mm-hmm.
that in our, I don't know, 7 months of running.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so hopefully it stays this way. Yeah, I think we do have struggles in other kind of facets of like the business, but not really in terms of support of like, or people being um not approving of
Mm-hmm.
like women entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not yet at least.
Well, that's really good to hear.
Yeah,
That's very positive. That's very encouraging. I'm happy to hear that.
yeah,
What about in terms of um, societal dynamics, I'll say, because I know as an Asian woman who branched out first to be a musician, and I branched out, which meant I kind of just left my family. As Asian, Southeast Asians, at least in Malaysia, you don't leave the house.
yeah,
You don't move out until you're basically getting married, and that's assuming that you're heteronormative. Forget about if you're not heteronormative, right? But you get married, and a lot of the time you get married and you also still stay at home even when you're married. And by the way, I'm not judging this, I'm just saying that's often what the culture.
yes.
I imagine for you it's slightly different. So I know you mentioned you were in a corporate job.
Oh, I
So
have,
what sort of stereotypes on that level have
yeah,
you moved through? And if you're open to sharing, because I know it will inspire other young women out there
yeah,
to break free, not break away, but break free from their own their own self-limiting stereotypes, because other people can put stereotypes on us. We still have a choice whether or not we want to comply to those stereotypes, right? So I'm going to be quiet so that we can listen to you.
Oh yeah, this is like a whole life story with
Let's
this
go.
one.
Let's go.
I'm Malay, fully Malay, a Muslim family, and I mean, I wouldn't say the worst, but the most intense are from Kelantan, and we are Kelantanese.
Okay.
So,
all love to the Kelantanese.
yeah,
Let's just
I
say that.
love my family, and I am a family person. Like, I would not function without my family, and that's why it's that much more of a struggle to break away because of I care so much about what they think of me. Just my immediate family, not even my extended family. So yeah, so I did a very conventional, went to the UK, did 3 years of accounting and finance. I did it because I was very good at numbers, but I never really thought I was passionate about it. I just did it because I was good.
Sorry, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Did you say accounting and finance?
Yeah, that was my degree.
I'm just gonna.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. For those of you watching the video podcast, which by the way, those of you listening to the audio, the video comes out a few weeks later. So make sure you've got a YouTube and hit subscribe. I'm just gonna lean over and give Nadira a fist bump. Finance and accounting, because I don't know whether you guys know listening, but I was 10 years as a management accountant.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this.
But there you go. We had to do the podcast in order for you to discover this. And let me just say, it was soul destroying. Now back to you. Back to you.
Oh, by the way, management accounting was my favorite out of the lot. Financial reporting, financial accountant, whatever, it's like too much. But anyway, that's how I kind of found my purpose, my fashion when I was in the UK. So I never, when come third year, I was already graduating. I didn't do so well because I wasn't into it anymore. I just wanted to finish it. And when I graduated, that's when I found, like, when I came home and told my mom, like, yeah, my life story like evolved a lot, so bear with me.
Go for it.
So yeah, to fill out my life, because I love people, I became a barista. I was first a waitress and then a barista, so that's how I found out that I actually really truly love engaging with people. I love conversations, I love connections, even when it's not paying me that much. It just gives me life, like, rather than just go to uni every day. And I had great money, so I mean, good on me. So that's how I found my love for people. It really just strengthened my people skills, and like just really confirms the fact that I am a people person. I can go on and on and on and on and talking to like even a random guy by the streets. So I came home and told my mom, okay, maybe I'll just like, hang around first, open my own cafe when I have the money, or maybe now I'll just work in a cafe first. Obviously they were like, what the hell?
We put you through uni for this.
Yeah, we spent XXX amount, and you come back and nak kerja kedai kopi. That's how they sounded. It sounds so much worse in Malay.
Which, by the way, could you translate that to English? Because 50% of our listeners, by the way, are outside of Asia.
Oh, sorry guys.
Yeah,
so that meant you want to come back and just just work at a coffee shop. People in Amsterdam, not that coffee shop, cafe, I mean. But yeah, so that's what they said to me. So it was a brawl, like it was just a lot of conflict, a lot of like fighting, because in their minds, it was, you wasted your 3 years doing accounting and finance and coming home wanting to work in a cafe. But I never looked at it that way. I just thought that if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have found my passion or my, what truly drives me, which is connections and people. And, I wouldn't have worked in a cafe if I was just here in Malaysia. I don't think nothing would push me to work in a cafe. I worked in a cafe because I needed this extra money. So anyway, obviously it was a no-no. So me being me, I needed to find a middle ground. I would always try something until I can prove to them, or I prove to someone that I'm just truly unhappy. So lucky me, I did an internship in EY, Ernst & Young, beforehand in my first year or something. So I was already offered a job. So I was secured in a job and I chose the last possible date to start. So I came back in September because my visa was expired. I couldn't extend anymore. And then the last possible date, I still remember it was 4th of December. Came home, went to Australia to find myself and hopefully, secretly hoping that my parents would change their minds. But obviously they didn't. I came home and
And
then
why would they?
I know, right? It's like I spend this thousands of ringgit to send you to uni, and then you come back wanting to work in a cafe that pays 5 ringgit per hour. No, hell no. So I came home and then I was like, fine, I'll do EY, whatever. I'll try to make it work because that's just how I am. And again, I would never ever make my parents unhappy with me because I'm Muslim. In Islam, we truly believe in like blessings from your parents. If not, I wouldn't really get to where I am. And I still believe that in some sort of way.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
come
we're
back
gonna
to
go
that
into
later. Yeah. Anyway, moving
because
on.
there's like, now that I'm 28, along those lines, some are true, some are not really that true anymore. But anyway, so went to EY. Oh my god, obviously no surprise, I absolutely hated it. I had a terrible manager.
Oh,
I don't
let's
think,
hope the manager's listening.
yeah.
But for the record, right? We're not dissing EY. This is just for framing for people listening. This is Nadira's personal life experience, okay?
Yes.
Because I don't
No,
want
I
anything to
really
get
want to
misconstrued.
say, after listening to my life story, don't think about quitting your job. Don't think about never joining the big four because I think it's great. It's just not for me. And I
Mm.
really think everyone's experiences are different. Everyone's life experiences are different. And you might have a different experience to me. I just had a terrible experience.
Mm.
And not so much the people like yeah, I said this to Melissa, like I'm someone who likes to be challenged. And I didn't enjoy sitting in a desk on a desk every day making slides, trying to
Really?
sell. Yeah, I did a lot of heck load of PowerPoint slides. I'm really good at it. I'm still good at it.
And I bet you use that skill still at
Yes,
some point.
that's how. Yeah, I'll fast forward later, but yeah, that's again, I hated it. So I just kind of like 2 years. So I was in management consulting, by the way, so in the advisory arm of Ernst and Young. Almost 2 years, and then I kind of like I
Ooh,
can't anymore.
2 years. That's
Yeah,
you really gave it a good commitment. Yeah, 2 years.
yeah, because like, that's how I am. I adapt, and then like the first year, I cried every day.
Oh, you're so emotional.
I know, I'm too emotional.
Gosh.
I feel too much. And then the second year, I'm like, well, no one's gonna care that I'm crying. So I made it work in the second year. I was a little bit happier because I had really good colleagues.
Okay.
I was in another project that I sort of like enjoyed much more than the previous one. And then I started like doing things that would normally make me happy. The first year I was dwelling in my tears. I did not exercise. I had no time. I was out at 7:30 in the morning, back by 9 p.m. So I had like no time.
What at work?
Yeah.
At a work that you
Yeah, I was
weren't
thrown
enjoying?
into a big, yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but it's like a big merger. I'm not gonna say who or what.
Okay, yes.
So it was intense. As a first job, as an associate, it was intense. So I did not have time and I like not sure what I was doing and blah 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 blah. And then second year was better because I started incorporating exercise because that's just truly what makes me happy, right? And then I was just like, why did I abandon it? So I'm gonna make time for it. Nothing changed in my work life, but I woke up earlier. So I woke up 5:30 in the morning. I live in Shah Alam at this point. I still remember going to F45 Mount Kiara. I was there by 6:30 in the morning. Done by 7:30, off to work. Yes, that was my day to day. And I felt better, but I was sleepy, very, very sleepy. And then I don't know, something ticked in me to get certified in access, like in PT, in more to learn about my body, what works for me because I was gaining a lot of weight. Despite going to F45 like every single day, blah blah blah. Yeah, I did it. I took leave. I still remember. I took on the Friday. My boss was like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I have personal engagements." But actually, I was in CPT training. Yeah, I got myself certified, and then I was like, kind of in this limbo of like, elaborating my life, evaluating my life, just like what I wanted to do. And at this point, I was also studying. I don't know if you tried my granola, Melissa. Like, but I also sell. Once upon a time, sell granola. I still sell granola, but that is on the back burner now. But I like to bake. And I started this baking thing because I eat a plant-based diet and I can't find desserts anywhere that is plant-based. So I started my own. Again, I love to take matters in my own hands.
Yeah.
So I just started baking and started selling to my colleagues and like started my Instagram, blah, blah. So it kind of like was going quite well. So I was like, my plan at that point was to quit my job, do something along the lines of fitness, but I had no idea what, but pursue my baking because there was a huge gap in like plant-based desserts.
So I can just pause there for just 1 second because I
know,
really
it's a
want to
lot.
highlight this, right? This is Nadira sharing how she embodies self-leadership. So she needs something, she can't find it anywhere. So she's like, okay, I'll do it. And so she makes it and then she shares it to community and gets an energetic exchange, which we call money, by the way. And then something else shows up and she does something else. So you see, we're not one-dimensional beings. We can do many, many things. And we can also do things for as long as they serve us. And I want to make that statement because I do believe that we live in a world that says from the day that we're 8 years old even, or maybe maybe transitioning to secondary school, you need to know who you want to be because your trajectory of your life is going to be defined from now on. I call major BS on that. That system needs to freaking change. It is the cause of toxic health, toxic mindset, and it's terrible for our well-being. What we need is a more supportive mindset and a community that supports our curiosity and our creativity in trying different things, exploring them, taking them as far as we need and we can, and not beating ourselves up if it doesn't work or we decide we don't want to do it anymore. So thank you for embodying that and modeling that to people.
No problem. No, I really want to add to that. It's like who I was in school, in uni, in EY, completely different to who I am right now. So you're always a work in progress and like you shouldn't know who you want to be at 8 years old. It's like, yeah, it's like you make decisions, you make life choices, you find yourselves based on the experience that you experience or the people that you encounter. So that's gonna change every single day. And like this is why I like traveling because I meet different people, I experience different things. So you're always gonna evolve into something. I guess at the end point is if we do have an end point, is your truest self. And actually helped me find this like my what do you call it? There's a term for it. Your God self.
Oh,
yes. So
sure.
yes, Sai uses this term God self, and I always envision this God self of me being the best version of myself, and I always have that. And every say month or week is a different God self. So see, even that God self can change. So what more? You every day, you know. But anyway, going back, so that's my career life story. So I was baking, I was a management consultant. So I left management consulting, quit in October 2019. Hey, no, 27.
Was it just before the pandemic, the global pandemic?
Oh, why is it like weird? No, August 2019, because I was there about 2 years, yes. And then, I quit to start my own, say, baking business, right? And then actually, opportunities come, weird opportunities come that you don't even realize. My good friend Marissa came to me and just said, dude, I'm a partner of this company. We need an operations manager to run the show. I'm like, well, I have no experience in operations, but okay, I'll do it because I have a passion for food, right? Like healthy food. So I joined her and I was with her up till 2021.
And by the way, the Marissa that Nadira is talking about is going to be on the podcast sometime soon. So if you've not subscribed to the podcast, can you get on it? Anyway, back to you, Nadira.
Yeah, because we're all like great women, you know, we all hang out together.
We do.
But anyway, so I'm just saying, I guess where I'm coming from is really just embracing the opportunities that come. And oh yeah, I wanted to really mention how I reasoned with my parents when I quit my
Oh,
job.
back there to the parents. I
Yeah,
love it.
because this is the original question. See, I'm mumbling away. Um, my parents obviously wasn't happy, and they weren't. They already knew I wasn't happy, but my mom was coming from a point of view, oh, it's only your first job. Like no one gets it right at the from the get go, and look at your dad to get to where he is right now. He had to like push through. And I came back with, I understand. If I were to pursue management consulting and I want to be a consultant in that field in financial services, yes, I would push through. I would work how many ever hours in a day. But I think I'm one of the lucky few to have found my passion. And I'm so grateful for that. I think I would much rather this path than to be in a job just to pay bills and not knowing what truly light my life on fire, if in that sense.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are in that boat right now, and I wish nothing but the best for them to find something that they truly, enjoy. But yeah, so that's how I kind of talked to my parents. I said, if I were to be stuck in this, oh, I also, I play mind games sometimes. So I'm like, I also came from the angle of there are thousands of individuals who would want my job. I feel it's unfair to be in that job when I
Don't like it.
am half-assing it every single day. My teammates work so hard,
Mm.
and I was just there like getting, my
Getting by.
hours filled. Yeah. And then, going on Shopee sometimes, going on Zalora to like, fill up my time. Yeah, so it just didn't sit right for me. I'm very honest, and I'm honest with myself, and it didn't sit right. And my mom is the more emotional, again, women, more emotional, more like, oh my God, you need to do things this way kind of person. Thankfully for me, even with his weird ways, my dad is my biggest cheerleader. So he was asking me to try the job, but he actually did say before I started, he said, you try it for yourself and see, come back after you've tried it, to me, and tell me how you feel. And that's why I went into it anyway, despite I knew I did like it. So I went back to him. I said, in Malay, we call it niat, but like in English, it's intention. So I knew my intention wasn't there. I'm half-assing it when I go there. Nothing is right. And that's what I told my dad. It's not right for me, for other people, for my teammates. And I knew I had to like take myself out of the situation. And also at this point, I was kind of losing myself in the sense where I'm not hanging out with my friends. I just work and then work out and not having enough sleep and just kind of like pushing through. And what took me to kind of really quit is because I was 23 and I didn't want to live life. Yeah, this was like so emotional for me. I think realizing that I was working Monday to Friday only to wait for the weekend, only to have Sunday come and be depressed again that I have to go to work again on Monday. Oh, wow. That's so heavy for a 23-year-old. It's like, when is this going to end? So that's why I quit my job and went to my dad, explained everything, and he was surprisingly understanding. But obviously, with most Asian parents, Southeast Asian parents, they want a plan. So I was like, oh, I was just making up my like shitty plan. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to sell granola. And then if it doesn't work 3 months, I'm going to find another job. And they're like, cool. Okay. Do you have savings? I'm like, yes, enough to last me 3 months. And then suddenly, again, I think stars are aligned. Marissa came the month after, and I was already in a new job the month after. So I was already in a paycheck again. Obviously, not as much as EY, but I was doing now something I was really enjoying with my good friend Marissa. So again, I think don't be afraid to kind of speak up to your parents. For me, I think I speak for majority of Malay families because I really take care of their feelings. Like I really care about what the people think. I think most of my friends would have just left and done something else, and I probably moved out of the country, but I didn't. My friend,
I'm raising my hand.
But for me, it's like I always I needed their love and blessings, and I think I would never succeed if I didn't have like 10% of their, their approval.
Mm.
So that's why I needed to like tell them how I was feeling. And I think it was the right place, right time that they were also suddenly understanding. And yeah, I just went off and did my own thing. And as Asian parents, once I started earning a paycheck again, they're like, oh, we can breathe now. You're not eating sand.
You're not eating sand like you were when
Yeah.
you were in the sandbox as a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, real sand.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, please don't apologize. You have 28 years of being alive, and you're not here on the podcast just to, and also we're not here to deliver a message that's all about hacking life. We're here to be curious about you, to be curious on your life and the experiences that you've had so that we can learn from you, but also we can learn through you, because I know there are many listeners out there whom your story will sound possibly familiar to, but also your story will encourage and inspire them to take the action to have that conversation that maybe they've been putting off for a while. So it's really important that you share that story, and thank you for doing that.
No problem. Yeah, I think also I need to add like, um, especially Asian parents, we think there's this so hard, but at the end of the day, they are also humans. They have feelings, and I think
They do. Sometimes it's hard to imagine that our parents have feelings when we feel they want
exactly.
to
Like they're like
constraining us.
adults. We think that they know best, and like I don't know, like they know best, or they have like they are always right. They might not always be right. That's why you need to challenge them, and have this a bit like more difficult conversations. But I think ultimately, if you explain that you're losing yourself, they want the best for their children. So if you are really losing yourself, like I was, because I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. I've always been exuberant, like since the day I was born. I'm like, the la, la, la in the family. So when 1 year straight I was crying, something was wrong. Definitely was wrong. And then I think the weight gain showed, and like, just the snappiness, or I didn't say it like I was really snappy with my parents, and I never used to be, and I never am, because I like they're like my everything. So yeah, they can notice those patterns, and I think when you force them into the conversation, they will start to talk about it. I hope.
Yeah, thank you for that vote of confidence for the listeners. And I definitely would agree with that. In fact, at the end of the day, our parents are doing the best that they can, right? And when they're charting out our future as their children, they're charting out our future based on their experiences.
Yes.
And it's easy for them to forget that we're a different generation.
100%.
So we don't know what the future holds, and neither do they. And honestly speaking, the best way to navigate the future is to create it. And that doesn't mean having a plan that you stick to. It means that honestly checking in on each moment, how you're feeling. I mean, yes, have a plan, have an idea where you want to go. But if next week I don't want to go there anymore, be curious about why. Of course, I'm not encouraging people to just chop and change every 5 seconds, but don't be afraid to ask yourself, okay, what is it about this path that is no longer aligned? Maybe you need to do something differently. Maybe it's not about changing the path entirely, but being curious and giving yourself the permission to ask more questions, to lean in for more support, and lean into the people that you care about, like your parents, to educate them rather than, and it's very common for Southeast Asian kids to be compliant and maybe do something, live a double life, which is exhausting and also not good for your mental health or emotional well-being. It's about facing them, because when you face them, you're also facing yourself, and you're gaining some skills that you're going to take out in the world. So, Nadira, it's been amazing having you here, sharing all this wisdom, sharing the multitude and the eclectic life you've already lived, and you're only 28. All the best with Aina Collective.
Thank you.
And everybody who's listening to the podcast, if you head over to the website, you'll be able to get all the links to connect with Nadira as well as with Aina Collective, so that you can stay up to date. Maybe you can learn a bit more about what the community building is all about behind Aina Collective, and the educational events and workshops and gatherings that they've got planned for the year and beyond. And one last question, do you ship globally?
Yes.
You do?
Well, not all countries. We ship to UK, Australia, Indonesia, Thailand, well, all the Southeast Asia, and UK, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our Australian and our UK listeners, get on over, check it out. And for our listeners who are everywhere else in the globe, contact your friends in the UK
Yes.
and Australia and
We'll
get
still work
them.
on it. Like we are having a bit of problems with shipping, but again, challenges that I embrace. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you again. Any sort of parting words you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
Okay, I'll have to.
Okay, two. Grab it, go for it.
So first is the very famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi, and we have talked about this a lot in today's episode. Be the change that you want to see in the world. It's so cliche, but it cannot be any more true. And I have seen it myself. And like Sa said, if I want something changed, I do it myself now. I don't bother waiting around. And second, have good intentions and know what you like, know your why, your purpose. And I think everything will be in place. You don't have to try so hard. Just be honest.
I love that. Thank you again, Nadira. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much.
Thank you, Melissa.
And
Thank you,
all
everybody.
and all the best with everything that you, all your endeavors and everything that lights your fire and expands your heart.
Thank you.
Until next time, listeners, stay fearlessly curious, and I'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to leave a review and rate this podcast. See ya. Over and out.